Unit 2, Generation Gap. Lesson 1, New Words. Number 1, stylish. Number 2, trend. Number 3, silly. Number 4, practical. Number 5, suitable. Number 6, leather. Listening. Listen to a podcast about fashion in the past.
Rachel, look at this.
Chris, what are you wearing? Are you going to a 70s party?
Haha, no I'm not. It's because today we're talking about fashion trends in the past.
Welcome to Fashion Dive Podcast. This is Rachel.
And I'm Chris.
You know, younger generations often make fun of older generations' fashion.
Yes, but fashion trends often come back. A lot of what they wear is actually old trends.
Right, like the miniskirt.
Yes, it was invented in the 1960s. A British fashion designer experimented with shorter skirts, and it became a huge trend. It was one of the greatest inventions in the fashion world, wasn't it?
Yep.
Now take a look at these photos. They're so stylish, aren't they?
Yes.
A big trend in the 1970s was bell-bottoms, and I'm wearing those in case you haven't noticed. They had large leg openings from the knees down. The openings could be as wide as 66 centimeters.
In the 1980s, women entered the workforce in large number, and they wanted to look powerful. This was known as power dressing, and shoulder pads were a big part of it.
Many trends in the 80s were silly, but not this one. Power dressing sounds really cool, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Fashion in the 1990s. There were many changes throughout fashion in these times.
Unit 2, Generation Gap. Lesson 2, New Words. Number 1, respect. Number 2, permission. Number 3, curfew. Number 4, privacy. Number 5, behavior. Number 6, ignore. Number 7, influence.
C. Listen and read.
Dear Linda, can you give me some advice? Sometimes I don't know what to do with my daughter. We've had several arguments recently. She pays more attention to her appearance now, and her clothes are just, well, I can't understand the younger generation's fashion. She has bought so many new clothes, but I think she should have saved her money. So I talked to her about it and we argued. I decided to stop giving her money for a month, and now she's really angry. She also spends a lot of time in her room. I wouldn't mind if she was studying, but I don't think she is. She plays music loudly, and her music is just not good at all. When I suggested she should play classical music to help her focus better, she refused. She said it's boring. Last Friday, I was so tired and she wouldn't turn off her music, so I shouted at her. I was wrong to shout, but she shouldn't have ignored me. I feel like she doesn't respect my opinions anymore. The biggest problem between us, however, is her request to have privacy. She never talks to me about her school or friends, and she wants to change her curfew to 10 p.m. I'm worried that she might meet someone who is a bad influence. Yesterday, when I was cleaning her room, I found her diary. I started to read it, and then I put it down. I know I shouldn't have done it, but I just wanted to know what's going on with her. I really want our relationship to get better. What should I do? Please help me. Donna.
Unit 2, Generation Gap. Lesson 3, Listening. Listen to someone talking about the generation gap.
Welcome back to Teen Talk. We're going to continue our topic about the generation gap. We have already spoken about how styles have changed. Now, we're going to talk about what younger generations can learn from the older ones. Older generations have a lot of life experience. Some have lived through very difficult times, and some have built businesses from nothing. The first thing we can learn is how to deal with adversity. By adversity, I mean difficult times in our lives. Many of us younger people find it difficult to deal with stress and adversity. I think older generations could teach us how to stay positive during hard times. The next thing is how to plan effectively. We may make many plans for the future, but we haven't lived long enough to see how our long-term plans work. Older generations have made plans and seen how well they worked. We should ask them how to plan our own futures better. Finally, they can teach us how to have long, happy relationships. Older generations on average have much longer marriages. They could give us tips on how to maintain good relationships. That's all for this segment. Come back after the break to learn about what we can share with the older generations.